welcome back to the Uncut Casual. In today's video I wanted to quickly show you the current setup in the Mercenary League. First of all, let me tell you that even if the setup feels already very smooth and handy, I did not test it in high tier maps, even if I'm pretty sure it can perform well in the current state, even till like tier 14-15 probably. If you have any sort of advice in order to enhance and like make the build better, let me know, because I'm not an expert player and I really would like to hear your thought about this kind of build. So let me quickly talk you about the main source of damage, which is Lightning Conduit of the Heaven, an alternate version of the usual Lightning Conduit. So basically, the only difference between the main skill gem and its alternate version is that the Lightning Conduit of the Heavens, the one we use, doesn't need the target to be shocked. So the main version need the target to be shocked and deal more damage the more the shock effect is present on the enemy. Instead, the version we use doesn't need the enemy to be shocked, and in this current 3.26 get a very nice buff, shock enemies although dealing more damage to them. So basically the way we play this build is we move around with the Lip Slam or the another alternate version of Frostblink, and we just deload the Lightning Conduit of the events or on different pack of mobs. Alright, so before talk about the passive tree and the skill gem, I wanted to quickly show you how we scale the damage of our Lightning Conduit. The first thing we need to talk about is Energy Blade, which is basically a buff we literally take a big amount of our energy shield and transform our main hand weapon in that energy, simply adding flat lightning damage to it. And from the main equipped weapon we just hold the socket types and nothing more. Then we use Spellblade support as a link to Lightning Conduit and actually even to our Frostblink, because it took a portion of damage of our equipped weapon and simply convert that to spell damage, which is added to our Lightning Conduit or any sort of skill we decide. Also, on top of that, we also use the Battlemage from the Inquisitor Ascendancy, which gain and we gain even more at the spell damage depending on the main end weapon. So basically, it's everything set up on top of Energy Blade. That's how we scale our damage, almost. Also, another important interaction worth to be mentioned is the one provided by IRL Emmet, the Plume of Pursuit, and in particular the fact that the spell skill always deals critical strike on final repeat. So this helmet on its own let us stop me worry about critical hit chance for our spell, simply because the last repeat we secure to be a critical strike. And once we like unlock the helmet, we can basically just boost our global critical strike multiplier without worrying too much about the less critical hit strike chance. That is possible only because we link also spell echo to Lightning Conduit, so a Lightning Conduit actually can have a second repeat, which is the final repeat we need in order to trigger the critical hit. Good, now we can quickly talk about items. We already saw the helmet, which is our source of crit basically, and there's nothing more interesting about the helmet. The amulet itself is the Marilyn Fallacy. We allocate Divine Judgment. We anoint Divine Judgment actually. I'm pretty sure that could be better option, but for now this is what I got. Alright, regarding the shield, you don't actually need the modifier for the increased reservation efficiency of Aura, but if you don't have the shield, try to look for a sort of way to get that reservation efficiency, otherwise you wouldn't be able to run all the aura out, at the same time. So you can still you can either look for a shield with that implicit, or like I did in the final acts, get these 3 points here, which are enough to run all the aura setup at the same time. Two ring, this need to be actually swapped as soon as possible. Nothing particular fancy for the ring. Life resistances and some mana. We are still running on 5 link on the body armor, and we always look for energy shield, life, and a way to regenerate life per second. We'll talk later about that. And I just craft dexterity here because we need as much as possible to get a high level haste aura. That's the only reason why. Alright, the leather belt, the immortal flesh, because we want to look for on any kind of source to regenerate life per second. And yeah, the gloves and the boots are nothing particularly. We just want life resistance, movement speed on boots, and again mana, life, and resistance on the gloves. We just don't care about the weapon because it will be substituted by energy blade. Now we can quickly talk about skill gem. We already talked about energy blade and the way it works, so we can just skip that. Arrogance and vitality. We could actually allocate even more auras on with linked with the arrogance, because we almost never above 55% of our life, but right now it's more than enough. One of our movement setup with Frostbling or Wintry Blast, so it doesn't have cooldown, we can move fast along the maps. And linked with Spell Echo, fastest casting, and Spellblade, simply because at least it can get some sort of damage, and many times that it's enough to clear a pack of white mobs. For the main links of Lightning Conduit of Events, we need to have Spellblade, as we already discussed. Spell Echo, mandatory, so we can get the crit on the final repeat. Control Destruction and Lightning Penetration, probably two main best supports for it. We still don't have the last link. I don't know what I will link to it, but for now we have Ratiosphere of Arcane Devotion, because it comes very handy to have the extra cast speed from this buff, which let us move faster, and also of course casting Lightning Conduit even faster. For the aura separate on the shield, we have Tempest Shield, Petrified Blood, which it's actually very useful for like mitigate a big chunk of damage, considering the high amount of regeneration we have, and the haste aura to move faster. On the boots we have our secondary movement setup with the Lip Slam, faster attack and momentum, and conducivity for boss or rares. Now on gloves we have a summon golem setup, which I don't think I totally like, simply because even if it's useful, particularly because of some points allocated in the passive tree, which enhance the effect of bats granted by the golem, and the fact that we can have two golem at the same time. Many times they don't actually live enough during the maps, so I'm not sure I'm gonna keep that. By the way, summon Colossus Golem and summon Stone Golem, even if we can use any kind of golem with the like buff we would like to have, linked with mid shield and minion life in order to try to let them stay alive as long as possible. Yeah, good. And that's all for the gems. Good. Now we can quickly look at the passive tree. I'm not gonna comment every single point here, but maybe just the main one. These two provide us the boost for our chance to block attack damage and spell damage, and also the recover 50 energy shield when we block spell damage is very useful for us. Basically, these two here became a part of our defensive layer. These, in combination with Mind Over Matter and Eldritch Battery, which are the reason why the energy shield protects our mana, and these two, in combination with Pious Path, let us share the life regeneration with the energy shield itself. Indeed, we are around 1200 regeneration per second for both life and energy shield. This is the reason why, even if the build doesn't have actually a very high effective health pool, it still feels to be very tanky during maps and gameplay because of the high regeneration we have on both life and energy shield. Since with Mind Over Matter damage it's taken also from mana, this regeneration actually became a very important defensive layer. We scale lightning damage, of course, cast speed, lightning damage, and this node here is relating to the golem setup we discussed before. There's nothing particularly like specific to discuss here. Here I'm trying to get the other critical strike multiplier node. Regarding the ascendancy, we have the Inquisitor, so we can get the high regeneration here, and the Battlemage node to boost our damage. Here, Instrument of Virtue. Yeah, there's nothing more to talk about regarding the passive tree. Sorry for the long video. Actually, initially it was intended to be a sort of simple build showcase, but I try to be as clear as possible for the main mechanics behind the build, so even new players can like understand what's going on, and maybe experienced player can suggest some modification which can make the build work even better. I was thinking to go through a mine setup or a setup with an ivory tower in order to be even more tankier, but we'll see. I looking forward to hear for your thought and your feedback on the video itself. Actually, I want to point out also that this is the very first time I do such a long video with my voice. I'm not a native English speaker, so I'm sorry if I made some mistake or I've been too verbose in some section of the video. Any kind of feedback also for the video itself would greatly help me improving the quality on content and the way I deliver it. So thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you like the video, find it helpful, or simply because you would like to support the channel. And stay safe. See you.